One of the best ways to illustrate just how important SQL injection is to refer to OWASP, the Open Web Application Security Project. And OWASP creates an excellent document which is the 10 most critical web application security risks. Now, I've got a number of different courses on Pluralsight about understanding the top 10 in detail, either in a technology agnostic way via a course such as Web Security in the OWASP Top 10, the big picture, or specifically for ASP.NET in my OWASP Top 10 Web Application Security Risks for .NET. So depending on your interest and level of detail you want to go into, if you're interested in OWASP, go and check out those courses. The reason that I want to show it here is because of where SQL injection fits into that top 10. So I'm going to jump down a few pages in this top 10 web application security risks document all the way down to the list of those top 10. And injection is right up the top. It's number one. It's been there for years and years and years, and it continues to sit here right up the top of the list of risks. Now, one thing you'll notice here as well is it's not called SQL injection in OWASP document. It's just called injection. And in fact, you can see a reference here in the description to other injection attacks. So OS injection, LDAP injection. There are different ways of mounting an injection attack depending on the target system. Now, in this course, we're only going to talk about SQL injection. I may sometimes speak a little bit colloquially and say injection, but it's always going to be about exploiting injection risks in relational database management servers using SQL syntax. So specifically to SQL injection, let's go and have a look at why this is still such a big deal. Why does it matter? Why do we still care so much about this risk that's been around for so long? I want to break this down into 4 different categories. And the first one is discoverability. And the thing about injection risks is that they are really, really easy to find. You can easily find injection risks very often by just typing a single character in a URL. You can also very easily find SQL injection risks just via a Google search. That's all it takes. Carefully craft a query to look for a typical vulnerable URL, and it doesn't take very long at all to find lots of sites at risk of injection. So discoverability, easy. Prevalence is the next problem, and it is very, very common. And that goes to the point of just how easy it is to find via a Google search as well. The other thing that supports that prevalence is just how many headlines you see of systems that have been compromised by exploiting a SQL injection risk. And we'll see some of those headlines at the end of this module as well. So SQL injection is everywhere. The next problem is around exploitability. And the problem here is that it's just so easy to exploit a SQL injection risk. Now, the risk itself can actually be a bit complex. The thing that makes it easy is that there are a lot of easily automatable tools out there. And we're going to look at some of those later on in this course as well. But a SQL injection attack can be as simple as copying a URL, pasting it into a nice little GUI attack tool, and then suddenly you've exploited the system. It can be that easy. It is so easy, I've got a video on my blog of my 3-year-old exploiting it, just to illustrate the point of how simple it is to exploit a SQL injection risk. Now, the final problem, and this is the real sting in the tail of SQL injection, is the impact, and it is severe. So when we talk about impact of an injection attack, we're talking about the potential compromise of all the internal data of a system, and we can classify that impact in several different ways. We'll have a look at that in a little bit more detail later on in this module. Suffice to say, a SQL injection attack can leave a system in a real mess. So with that context set, let's move on and start taking a look at how an attack is actually mounted. the actual mechanics of attack. So let's go and check that out right now.